And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's been quite a while, almost longer than the warm-up game that OMG just pulled against Soulbound Tempest there. But we're finally back. Random Minion Caster, and alongside me is the ever-reliable Rudude. How are you doing after that long break, Rudude? Yeah, for sure. And they are right into picks and bans here. On the blue side, it's Goon Squad Gaming. They're banning out the Darius, the Cassiopeia, and the Kled. I think they recognize Necro's carry potential there. So a lot of bans thrown that way. On the red side, it's going to be Omega Gaming Fire, and it's going to be Volbear, Heimerdinger, and Morgana. Heimer, not a common ban, targeted at, I believe, the Epic Champion. But the picks are coming out. Caitlyn was left open. That's going to be picked up, immediately answered by Ash Jarvan from Omega Gaming.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a return to the Jarvan here in the jungle here. You're going to have a little bit more difficult time trying to lock down this AD carry. Obviously, Caitlyn has the net available to herself, so he's going to be able to jump on over the Cataclysm if he's got that cooldown available. But obviously, if not, the Caitlyn can be punished quite a lot. And we saw the Jarvan come out incredibly effective in game number 1 for Demonic, so no reason not to go back to it in game 2.
For sure, yeah. Demonic was just all over the place with that Jarvan, just making action happen here. And it is going to be the set pickup here for the side of Goon Squad Gaming. Did get a little bit of a nerf, I believe, last patch. Do you think it's really affected anything, Rujin?
I think that the nerfs that came through were they, not enough to take him out, to take him out of the meta and to change his role in any way. I think that what he does in the jungle is still the exact same, and yes, his clear's maybe a little bit slower now, but that's just gonna be the case in this situation. And he still does what he needs to do: Nimbus Cloak, Hex Flash. He's going to be able to get into those ideal positions very quickly.
For sure. And the last pickup here, going to be that Thresh here for the side of Goon Squad Gaming, denying that from Kiri, one of his most played champions. And for the side of Fire, they're picking up their mid laner early here, Oriana, their pickup, and they're going to target that mid lane there.
Yeah, getting Ori picked up for themselves very early on, opening themselves up to a potential counter pick. It's something that, I've seen a couple times. If you pick an Ori first rotation, you can definitely see some uh, counter picks such as Kassadin. I've noticed a couple times come up as a pick to Oriana, because if you can't punish the Kassadin pre-level 6, the Ori can't do anything as we get later and later into the game. But we'll have to see how the bans go with Irelia taken away, Vel'Koz taken away. Definitely some difficult matchups for the Ori have been removed.
Yeah, for sure. And we do see indeed the Vel'Koz Irelia bans coming out against Goon Squad Gaming, and they're going to keep focusing that top lane. They're 100% in on Necro. They agree with you, Rude Dude. Ilaoi Urgot ban. They want to make sure Necro can't enable any plays through that top side.
No, exactly. 4 bans targeted at the top laner here. Necro getting the respect that he deserves, I guess, this time. And with the amount of bans targeted towards him, he's still going to be able to get secured counter pick for himself. Obviously, they've sort of they've been able to secure counter pick bot lane as well. So this red side going quite well so far for Omega Gaming Fire. They've been able to pick up the bot lane duo that they wanted, and they picked Ashe into Caitlyn. They've now picked Bard into Thresh, which, Caitlyn Thresh definitely has an easier time in this lane and should be able to profit more than the Ashe Bard will. But they've picked into it, Fire. They know what they need to do, and they should be able to play to that. Similarly,
Yeah,
they've picked up the Jarvan as well, and they're gonna have counter pick in the top side of the map.
yeah, and if game one was anything to go by there, Kiri doesn't intend to lane anyways. His Bard was all over the map. Well, ganking, I think, almost as much, if yeah, almost as much as Demonic there was just all over the place. And for the side of Goon Squad Gaming, they're going to lock in their solo laners. It's Silas in the mid lane, Ornn in the top lane here.
Yeah, so safe top lane pickup coming up for Goon Squad Gaming. Pretty standard, pretty much what you expect to see. Obviously, they've taken so many picks away from Necro here. It'll be interesting to see what he comes out with. But Ornn is just that safe blind pick. It does open up when you pick the Ornn. Something a little bit more scaling heavy, maybe a Vladimir or a Kale. But Necro going to take a back seat this game, it looks like, picking up the Scion for himself.
Yeah, and they did look like they might need a bit of tankiness there. J4 can build tanky, but isn't really a true tank. So getting that Scion means they will have themselves a bit of that meat shield in front to match the Ornn on the side of Goon Squad Gaming. And with both these compositions coming out here, it looks a little bit like a sort of a brawling composition from both sides here. So what are your thoughts about this, Rudu?
I think Fire have got a strong team fighting composition, and I think that Goon Squad Gaming, similarly to that point, have also got these are two just really well thought out team fight compositions. I think that Oriana is just slightly easier to execute for me than a Silas in the mid lane, and I feel like the rest of the champions fill pretty much the exact same role that the Bard and the Thresh want to act as picks and try and enable their carries a little bit more. I think that maybe Bard has a little bit more playmaking potential with the Tempered Fate, but holistically, I think that these two teams want to do the exact same thing and just 5v5 team fight. You know, these top laners in a split push, it will literally take a minute for one of them to kill the other in a late game situation. So I think we're going to look to team fights, look to these AD carries, and it's going to be that exact role, either mid lane or AD, that is going to be the most important one, because whoever can cut through the tanks faster is going to be able to get access to the backline faster and being able to win the team fight sooner.
Yeah, so we'll have to keep an eye on these ADCs as well. And in game one, Mori was kind of abandoned quite a bit by Kiri there. So he handled it well in game one, but it is coming down to the AD carries here to really do the work. Hopefully, Kiri will be able to stick around a little more, help them out a little bit more as well. And, it looks like Good Squad Gaming opted for a bit more tankiness as well with the set, with the Thresh, with the Ornn compared to the damage from Fire here with the Bard with the J4 as well. So, do you think the fact that Fire has a bit more, well, firepower will make a difference here? Because you're saying damage is important, right?
Yeah, I think that it can do if they're able to focus down this Caitlyn using the Jarvan's like extra base damages that he has, and we saw last game. And this was probably because they were snowballing quite a lot that the warrior came through for demonic. But I think even in that situation, if they're able to use Sion, use Jarvan, to just put the ball down as well with Oriana onto the Jarvan, they can probably get some really easy backline access just off the back of just pressing your ults and going in. To oppose that though, Ornn is actually going to be really good at trying to sort of slow down that engage in terms of he can actually put up the little stubble, the little Q that he picks up from the ground just to interrupt Sion ulti if that happens to happen in any way, then that'll be hilarious. But another thing to note for Goon Squad Gaming is as soon as Fire try and press the engage tools, Set is an incredibly strong counter to Jarvan because if Jarvan flag drags in, Set just showstoppers him right back out and turns the engage 180 and might be able to find access to the backline of Omega Gaming.
For sure. So Fire once again going to be on the aggressive, and it's going to be up to Goon Squad to try and stop the onslaught here. The diving into the backline, looking for Master Xiaomai on that Caitlyn as well. And we talked a little bit about that bot lane. You said Ash, commonly picked as a counter to Caitlyn. So probably Fire's going to know what they're doing. The Bard as well. We've seen for Kiri. What about the other lanes here, top and mid? Because back in the first game here, Necro just stomped, and Catasoul was all over the place as well, just finding assists and kills. This time, no Galio. No sort of carry top laner. What do we expect to see out of the solo lanes here?
Yeah, I think it's a very different take for both of these solo laners. Obviously, Galio has a very different playstyle to Ori, and similarly, Sion is very different to the Kled. I think I'm expecting to hopefully just see farming up going on in the top lane. I don't think either of these top laners want to. Well, they might want to, right? They might want to try and fight, and there's obviously potential with the Jarvan that top side they could get a 2 versus 2 kill. Could maybe try and take down this Ornn before he's incredibly tanky and before the Sunfire comes through. So there's a world where Sion also trades incredibly well versus the Ornn, but with the Bellows Breath, it's incredibly easy to immune the knock up that Sion comes through because that is obviously incredibly telegraphed. I think mid lane is going to be somewhere to focus because obviously Silas being melee early on opens up an advantage. Potentially Oriana's able to get themselves a little bit of CS lead, a little bit of a HP lead, but it becomes at a cost. As soon as Silas reaches even level 6, should be able to start trading back pretty effectively versus the Ori. So again, it's looking toward Demonic. Can he coax Oriana into an advantage into the mid game, or is it just going to be an ultimate bot as we get later and later?
Sure. So looking like it's going to be a bit of a skill matchup in the mid lane, and the top lane is going to be that wet noodle fight that we've all come to love and hate here. Uh, and nothing's really going to happen up there. So a lot of attention will be focused on the bottom side of the map. And now we know that both teams want to do the same thing. We know that Fire wants to be the one making the aggressive early moves. But unfortunately, should the game go late, and hopefully it won't, after all, we just had a 20-minute game, uh, who do you think has the advantage here? Or are they still going to be dead even from start to finish of the game?
I think later on, Goon Squad have probably just the more consistent composition. In terms of how the comp wants to play out, I think it's a little bit easier. I really think that the set pick into Jarvan is early on not going to have as much effectiveness, and then when we see ultimates coming through and see more structured team fights happening, that this set pick is going to skyrocket in priority. And I really think Demonic is going to really struggle unless he's able to find some nice flank angles. Then it's going to be pretty difficult for him to access the Caitlyn, who's essentially the sole carry that they need to get in the backline, and into pretty much four melee champions of Goon Squad.
Okay, so yeah, needing to find creative ways. Basically, they just need to get to that backline. It feels like it's all on the shoulders here of Master Xiaomai for the side of Goon Squad Gaming. So, going to be a very dangerous matchup here. And I'm not sure if you're very familiar with the individual players on the side of Goon Squad Gaming, but is there a particular like lane they could exploit here? Because last game it was that top lane they could exploit, but this game, Goon Squad Gaming, they're what 7-0, I believe, in terms of
Yeah.
single games. So obviously they must be doing something right. Is there something that they can exploit, or are they just going to have to wait for the team fights and then look for that backline engage?
So I'm not too familiar with the players in general, but I know I'm familiar with their mid laner, and I'm familiar with him more as a top lane player. And he plays a lot of top lane carries. But I feel like in this role as a mid laner for this squad, I've seen him pop off, and I've seen him do great things. He used to play a lot of Silas top lane. In fact, into Ornn was a common matchup that I used to see him play a little bit back in the day here. So I know that he's comfortable on this Silas, knowing that he can indeed pop off, knows his limits fairly well. So maybe this mid lane is somewhere to keep an eye on, because Orianna, can typically be a fairly safe laner, but Silas is really good at punishing slight overextensions.
Okay, so if anything, rather than trying to find a weakness, they're gonna have to make sure Kata Soul does not get exploited instead. And you know what? With that, we are gonna head into that intermission break to wait out the spec delay here. And after that, we will get the big raid boss fight here. Fire gonna try and take down the Goon Squad Gaming here and feed them their first best of one loss. You won't want to miss this, so don't touch that browser. Welcome back, ladies and gents, to the prize fight for tonight on the blue side here. It's going to be Goon Squad Gaming with the epic champion in the top lane, Barnabas Collins, in the jungle. Rootledge is Beast in the mid lane, Master Xiaomai as AGC, and First Dream maybe on support on the red side. It's the fan favorites here. It's Omega Gaming Fire with Necro in the top lane, Demonic in the jungle, Catasol in the mid lane, Morius ADC, and Kiri as support. And being best of ones, looks like neither team is going to look for that level 1 coin flip. Instead, we've just got ourselves a standard 5-point start.
Yeah, and obviously as you run through the lineups here, we have to remember that Demonic isn't the starting jungler for Omega Gaming Fire. Obviously would have liked to have seen both of these teams come in at full strength to fight one another. If Fire have start this week or start this game with their starting jungler, you have to feel like it gives them a little edge. Obviously, having seen Demonic in game number 1, we can't take anything away from the player in general. That he's obviously incredibly proficient on the champion, knows what he's doing, and has slotted into the team well. But you just have to feel like the same level of synergy can't just be generated as a sub.
For sure, and Demonic already doing, as you said, a great job so far on the J4. Has played substitute for this Fire lineup in the past. I believe he played jungle in the first week for them, and he did play mid for them as well. I can't recall which weeks, but he's worked with the team, and hopefully it will be sufficient here. And both teams are on sort of a win streak. I believe it's 7-0 for Goon Squad Gaming in terms of best of ones, and 6-1 here for Omega Gaming Fire. So it will be an absolutely huge win for Omega if they can pull this one off.
Yeah, definitely going to be looking to sort of establish themselves as one of, if not the top team in Blue Water League, because they're the best of one routes that have been going, and it's pretty much these two teams that are at the top of what Blue Water are using for their statistics so far, at least overall. Fire and Goon Squad are the top dogs, essentially, both trying to battle it out and trying to assert their dominance versus one another here in this second game of the evening.
Yeah, and with that, we're looking at the junglers here, and once again, interestingly enough, they both started actually not on the same side, but Demonic's looking for a full clear on the top side, whereas we do see Barnabas Collins going buff to buff, and he might look for a gank. A great ward coming down from Necro here will spot out Barnabas Collins, but he went in, so he's got to be careful now. The engage coming in, a very early flash from Necro to keep himself safe, and will be fine for now, but that is going to be his flash down for the next 5 minutes. And Barnabas Collins still hovering around that ward, though, doing a ton of work right now.
Yeah, exactly. He places the ward down just a little bit, or places the ward down perfectly, and then just charges his Q just a little bit too early, unfortunately. And we see some fighting around the mid lane. Both junglers are around.
Yeah, and it is going to be Rootledge going in. He actually has to flash away here. Catasol able to get out just fine. And we were talking a little bit about how Rootledge is dangerous and strong, but in the ball lane, Mori getting hooked up here will be able to dodge the trap, so we'll be fine for now. Taking a lot of damage though, so we'll have to be careful a little bit. There will be those healing shrines from Kiri, so should be okay. Mid lane, Rootledge is Beast, going in once again here, and both of them low on mana and health, but Catasol with the auto attacks and the minions finding first blood. Barnabas Collins coming in to try and find something off the back of that kill. Can he do it? He's just sitting in the bush for now, and it looks like he will walk off because Catasol just playing it safe.
Yeah, really well played by Catasol in the mid lane, using the dissonance move speed to his full advantage as well, kiting out the Silas just to keep himself nice and safe. Also gets the kill, obviously, with those empowered auto attacks from the Orianna passive. Really well played, acknowledging that Silas doesn't have flash, and then, more importantly, not overextending, not getting killed by Barnabas Collins, who was sat waiting in the wings for a very long time there.
Yeah, and couldn't find anything else either, but he's gone back to the top lane now. The ward did expire, so Necro, this time no flash, getting knocked up to engage, and nowhere to run here, no mana either. He's walking towards the turret, will go down. Barnabas Collins picking this one up, but the Epic Champion has to run away, has to be careful, will actually have to burn his flash to survive there. So while Necro does go down, at least he gets the flash out of the Epic Champion there for a bit of a silver lining, shall we call it.
Yeah, exactly, and he's going to TP back to that wave as well to just try and even that out as well. And really well played gank from Barnabas Collins. You have to say that he's acknowledging where the weaknesses of Fire are in this early game. You burned Necro's flash early on, you go top lane and punish him again with no ward, then it's just free real estate essentially, and shows it right there that with the burn flash, enough CC between Set and Ornn to burn through this Scion. especially before he's got any recalls through.
Yeah, now he did come back into lane with that ruby crystal and cloth armor as well. Will have a bit of tankies. Not sure how much that will help against Ornn, though a lot of his damage is magical. Bot lane, first Dream maybe getting stunned up a little bit. Only going to take a little bit of poke there, but we do see the roam coming down from Kata, will get spotted out by the ward, does not know it's there, and will now be sat in that tri-bush. I assume Master Shalma and Fushim just going to try and waste some time here. The wave looks like it's pushing against them, so they're actually going to push this out, and now Kata looking for an even further position in here. Are they going for this? The hook lands onto Mori instead, and they see Kataso now. He gets played under turret. They're pushing out a bunch of damage, and the shockwave lands on only minions here. Master Shama able to pick up the kill, flashing forward to get that one there. And that was a 1-for-0 in what was a 3-for-2.
Yeah, really awkward plays there. Catasol not using the shockwave anywhere near effectively. The awkward sombrero comes out. You shockwave yourself instead of any of the enemies. Really well played by First Dream and Master Xiaomai to keep themselves at arm's length and get themselves the kill back in the end. And looked like a really nice initial hook, and then they thought they might get baited, but Catasol wastes a lot of time with the roam, and he's down 10 CS now. That solo kill in the mid lane has really been neutralized by that failed effort at a roam right there.
Sure, and a bit of a cheeky back from Mori and Kiri here. Luckily, they were not stopped. It looked like Master Shalma and Fisher maybe didn't really see them. And that bot lane too, Mori being punished really, really heavily, is down 25 CS in what is supposed to be a bit of a counter matchup here. So, Rutu, how does that work here? Like, will it even matter when you're that far behind?
So you say counter matchup, right? And I agree with you that Ashe is typically a good AD carry into Caitlyn. But so much of bot lane is around support dominance, and honestly, Thresh has so much presence over Bard early on that if the Thresh walks up and hits one single hook, so if you fight mid, nice flash from Catasol to get away. But if the Bard hits a stun on the Thresh is 9 times out of 10 not going to die or not have to burn his flash unless there's an obscene amount of follow up coming through from maybe jungler as well. If Thresh lands a death sentence, the amount of follow-up that comes from himself and the Caitlyn as well means that you either have to burn flash, burn heal, or burn something to keep yourself safe. So, whilst, again, Ashe does fairly well into Caitlyn, Thresh does incredibly well into Bard early on in lane, and going to be quite difficult for them to step up as happily and as freely as they have been previously, as we definitely hope that we resolve this pause actually pretty soon.
Yeah, and it looks like there was just a disconnect here coming out from Kata, so maybe that was part of the issue in the bot lane dive. Probably not, but unfortunately, yeah, he did disconnect, and he is trying to get back into game here. And with that bit of time, like you said, the counter matchup, the Thresh counter is really, really hard. So, what do you think Mori and Kiri should do at this point? Do they just sort of turtle up and surrender priority on the dragon, or do you think Kiri maybe should look to roam like he did back in their game against Soulbound Tempest? Like, what's the call here?
Yeah, I think that obviously this lane is a lot more difficult for Mori to stay safe in because it's a Thresh that they're up against, right? It's pretty hard for Mori to keep himself safe if Kiri just walks off and roams away, and you can see that in Kiri's build that he's not rushed the swiftness boots here. He's definitely gone for a more sort of lane focused, trying to keep Ashe alive style. And if we remember, like, just the compositions and what we were looking for from these teams, we're looking to Mori and we're looking to Master Xiaomai to be the carries for both of these team comps. We've got very standard front to back team fights from both sides, and the AD carries are pivotal to that. So they're looking to feed into Ashe, into Caitlyn, to generate their advantages and generate the win conditions in these team fights.
Right, and so I guess Kiri is going to be locked in lane trying to protect Mori for now. But top side, we see the two wet noodles going at it, but Necro getting the worst of the trade. Call of the Forge God comes across, but the unstoppable onslaught there. Going to be able to get Necro out in time. Apparently a zombie runs faster than an angry ram there, and he'll remain safe.
Yeah, just about as well. It was very close on this top side. We talked about them not wanting to fight too much, but the Epic Champion really throwing fists and coming out ahead of the trade, using the Demolish proc now as well, able to secure himself one plate and maybe even a little bit more here. The wave firmly underneath Necro's turret. He's going to miss a little bit of CS here, maybe even miss some more XP. This Epic Champion just clearing out these final minions, gets himself 2 plates as well off of that all-in. So even though they got no kill, the 2 plates equate 320 gold, which is just slightly more than a kill anyway.
Yeah, and they also get Herald to boot as well. Barnabas Collins, knowing that Necro had to back there, was free to just go in and pick Shelly up. We did see a bit of ward clearing down bot side, but Demonic opted not to start that because he did get spotted out before they dropped the pink. He's going to take the Scuttle now, and so there's no answer back from Fire on that Herald take.
No, just a lot of objectives going the way of Goon Squad so far, and you can see it. It's not just this. If you're looking at the difference in kills versus the difference in gold, kill difference is 1. That's 300 gold. That doesn't account for the rest of the gold lead. The 1,000, nearly 2,000 gold lead.
We do see the death sentence landing. Barnabas Collins was actually looking for the gank as well, but will instead clear out the control ward. And yeah, everything canceled. But for a while there, it was looking real tense. Demonic was waiting in the wings as well.
Yeah, he was. We see just these wet noodles going off in at top lane. It's hard to gauge top lane fights because you don't know if they're just going to trade once or if they're actually all-inning. And even if they're all-inning, then it takes quite a while here.
For sure. And without that, I think Call of the Forge got that burst not there. But bot side, another death sentence last. This time, Kiri having to flash his way out. But Mori's punishing First Dream right here. The traps are coming out, though, and zoning Mori out. He can't stay still. Constantly having to move in order to not get caught topside. I did say something about the ultimates there. Call the Forge got needed for that extra burst. It is back up, so we might see something happen there instead. Dragon being started up on the bot side by Barnabas Collins here. And they do get vision somewhat down, so they know it's being done, but they can't see the dragon, and they won't be able to contest this. So first Drake going the way of Goon Squad Gaming as well.
Yeah, exactly. This is what we were expecting to see with the bot lane priority that they've got for themselves. Obviously, a fairly substantial lead in favor of Master Xiaomai is going to be what pretty much gatewayed them into getting this Drake set for themselves. And it's 11 minutes into the game, and the first Drake going down this late on means that we're going to be reaching a fairly late soul if we get to it. And with both of these team comps, it's pretty much exactly what I expect, that they all want to get to a late game 5 versus 5. And top lane.
The unstoppable onslaught coming in to get Necro into lane. Gets a lot of damage, gets the flash as well. And now the Epic Champion gonna use that Call of the Forge God to try and disengage, but Demonic is there, and the damage is there to follow up as well. They managed to pick up the Epic Champion. Teleport coming in from Ridge is Beast. He's going to use the stolen Shockwave there, and it's going to do a ton of damage, but he couldn't find the kill. Barnes Colin coming in, but the teleport was matched by Catasol. The original Shockwave has arrived, is being helped bot side. Mori able to take down First Dream maybe as well. Now it's a battle between the two ADCs as both supports are dead. Who's going to win this one? It's looking like it might be Master Xiaomai. Mori actually having to flash away to safety. Now stuck behind the wall, won't be able to finish off Master Xiaomai there. So a 1-for-0 in the top lane and a 1-for-1 in the bot lane. Firing back and evening up the kill score.
Yeah, definitely. This is what we want to see here from Fire. They're now just the 400 gold behind. Really nice gank up on the top side, and all off of Necro with the unstoppable onslaught going back into lane and really capitalizing on a little bit of greed from the Epic Champion, really. He tried to get that plate and still wasn't able to succeed, but here we see on the top side, maybe Necro falling the same fate.
Yep, and he's going for the extra plate just like you said. Unfortunately, the Epic Champion and Barnabas Collins both there as well. Necro gonna just try and take whatever damage he can on that turret in zombie form. And right now, both these top laners here really not playing like their tanks. They're trying to get plates, and they're gonna drop Shelly up there, knowing Necro is dead. The teleport is available when he comes up, but that'll be in 10 seconds, and his turret won't be there anymore.
No, exactly. We're gonna need to see that teleport be used for something more team-oriented, shall we say? And just like that, with we're thinking, oh well, Omega Gaming fired they're right back into this now with the kill on the bot side going in favor of Mori and the nice kill on the top side. They then unfortunately throw all of the lead back that they get away, and 2k gold lead reopens itself up for Goon Squad Gaming.
Yeah, and they're starting to lose control of that top side as well. You can see the Epic Champion and Barnabas Collins, they're just walking through that like it's their own jungle, and Demonic having to be the one to be careful there. Can't walk into that fog of war without any support whatsoever in that top lane. Shelly did actually get a second charge off, so that inner top lane turret extremely low as well. With the sort of demolish on the Epic Champion, we could see that go down if he gets a bit of time with it, but for now they've sent the Epic Champion into the mid lane instead.
Yeah, exactly. You want to open up your Sylas to go into a side lane and cause havoc there. Obviously, with the longer lane means that Sylas can do a lot more in trades, can trade for a lot longer, and the more auto attacks you get off, the more spell rotations you use, obviously the more damage that you're going to do. So getting a Sylas into a side lane definitely more beneficial than keeping him in there relatively short mid lane. Do see though, if we look at the minimap here, a little bit of posturing from Rutledge, from Barnabas on this bot side, and we could potentially see a dive here, even with Epic Champion dashing around. Kiri.
Yep, because apparently a death sentence is about to land, and that's going to force a fight there. Sure, you saw Rutledge is there, but it doesn't matter if you can't move away. And Kiri on that bar, taking a magical journey back to the fountain and a gray screen. We do see Demonic waiting in the wings here, though. He's going to try and make a play happen, and Rutledge is actually going to walk right into it. The lantern comes out as well, but he's looking for just that fight there. Final will take the lantern out. Great dodge out on that flag and drag. The teleport coming in from Necro as well behind, but there was nobody else to back him up. Barnabas Collins is here. We have a 4v4 in the bot side. No dragon to fight over, so they're just literally fighting over kills and pressure. Death sentence lands onto Mori here. The play to follow up. He has to sidestep all the traps, and that takes him low. The one last auto attack from first stream maybe definitely kills him here. The flag and drag now from Demonic having to be used defensively, and Rutledge, I'm not sure you wanted to take that drag in. He's now stuck in the middle of a whole bunch of people. Does eventually go down, does trade 1-for-1 for Demonic, and Barnabas Collins now having to flash out. He's trying to run away. Lantern comes out, he's going to ignore it. He just wants to shield. They get themselves out, and what was that, a 2-for-1, I believe? And meanwhile, the Epic Champion, we already said that top lane turret was low, and he got that alone time we were talking about. He gets that one for his team as well. No teleport available, but neither team really in a great position to try for this Ocean Drake here.
No, definitely not at this point. There's probably going to be a reset and probably another fight, or just a conceding situation from Omega Gaming. They are quite far behind at this point, unfortunately, nearing the 4,000 gold mark. As you say, a 2-for-1 there in that extended fight in favour of Goon Squad Gaming. Everything's sort of coming around. An Epic Champion
catching out Kataso a little bit here. Kataso overextending, but Kiri was there to back him up. So between the two of them, they are kind of dissuading them, or not, because Skull of the Forge God comes through, but it's a field goal. It doesn't find anyone here, but Rutledge doesn't care. He'll happily go in. Shockwave catches too, but they're so tanky, there's not enough damage here. Flashes being blown left and right. The death sentence comes out, but a beautiful flash wave from catch, so will keep them safe. Tempered Fate comes down and catches Barnabas Collins here, as well as Necro. And Kiri has to be careful, does not get popped there. And Barnabas Collins trying to run away. No shield available for now, but it's been so long. Master Xiao Mai has joined the team. New challenges have approached. Kataso will go down to Rutledge. They're going to keep on going. Master Xiao Mai popping Kiri as well, not respecting the range. Necro here, you're tanky, but you're so low on health, you can't do anything. He's dead, and they can't find anything at all. Mori, you have to be careful. You had a cheeky back in the bot lane, but it won't succeed this time. A flash forward from Master Xiao Mai will pick up yet another kill. That's 4 dead. Only Demonic left defending this mid lane turret here. But it doesn't matter, because Goon Squad doesn't care about the turrets. They want themselves Drake instead, and they will go ahead and pick themselves up the second Drake of the game at 17.5.
Yeah, Goon Squad Gaming with just some really well-played team fights going out there, and Master Xiao Mai, importantly, just completely untouched throughout the majority of that team fight. And we were talking about it going in, we've touched on it time and time again, that it's these AD carries that are going to win the game for them, and Master Xiao Mai, being untouched, having the completed Infinity Edge, he's in a much better position to do that than Mori at this stage. Mori obviously a level down, Blade of the Ruin King is completed, but he hasn't got the Rune Hand, so cutting through 4 melee champions without that Rune Hands as an Ashe, not going to go too well for him, and is definitely very difficult at this stage. Mori now, or Master Xiao Mai rather, basing. We just toggle the gold real quickly, likely going to be picking up either the Zeal or work towards that Storm Razor. Going to be the Zeal here, just because I think the gold was a little bit awkward, but either way, 500 gold bounty, 503 on the Caitlyn. Need to start seeing whether or not Fire can capitalize on their dive composition with this Jarvan, with the Orianna and the Bard to set it up, or whether Caitlyn's just going to be able to run free for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and a lot of these fights so far here have been kind of messy. We're not seeing a full 5v5. It's a lot of sort of 1v1s that snowball into 3v3s, or 3v3s snowball into 4v4 and into 5v5. So, yeah, Demonic, like you said, the key is he needs to find that backline. But so far, by the time Master Xiao Mai shows up, or by the time Demonic shows up, the fight kind of, you know, didn't really work out that much there for them. So we are seeing now Barnabas Collins going in here onto Kiri. They're aggressively looking for this. He might have gone a little bit too far, but no. Mori went the wrong direction. It's caught out. He takes the blast cone, but it gets blasted backwards there. That was a mistake. I think Kiri might have actually hit that blast cone. Now Kataso trying to run away. Enchanted Crystal Arrow does not land, but they are completely zoned out here. And Rutledge not afraid. He's stepping up real far here. Master Shamai just standing over the wall. Death sentence comes up, but it was a blind hook. Doesn't find anybody at all here. And after that, they just only find one for their efforts. It is Mori going down, and it's going to be the inside track on the mid lane turrets here.
Yeah, exactly. Using that kill to their advantage and now starting to take the objectives here. Goon Squad Gaming starting to really put their foot down here. Now they've got themselves a substantial foothold in this game, get themselves a kill, and now they're looking to take a little bit more here. The Herald called as well. Looks like this turret should fall before the Herald even charges, and they could be looking for at least an inhibitor here.
Sure, Kataso waiting on that side. The shockwave almost off cooldown here. Tempered Fate lands on nothing at all because the charge already started there. Demonic now getting hooked in. The shockwave lands onto Master Xiaomai and only Master Xiaomai there, but it's enough to put out the damage. Now Master Xiaomai forced to go from an awkward angle here, but Rutledge has gone backwards. They're looking for Kiri as well. The Ignite taking down. Will they be able to find Kiri? No, they can't. Instead, they do manage to pick up Kataso, who was off on the side there looking for that hero flank play. And they're trying their darnest right now. They got so much damage, but not enough. And now Necro stepped out just a little bit too far. The death sentence lands, and it lives up to its name as now Necro dead once again here. So many casualties. It's 15-5 right now, and Goon Squad just picking fire apart.
Yeah, they really are here. The really nice death sentence as well, just to secure the kills onto Necro at the backside of that as well. I really like the idea from Omega Gaming Fire, though. Demonic going in, got a big Cataclysm, but Catasol, obviously looking for the flank, was looking for Master Xiaomai, recognizing that he was the threat. Slightly unsynchronized in the way that they engaged. Demonic hitting pretty much everybody except the Caitlyn, and then Catasol hitting nobody but the Caitlyn, so a little bit of lacking the synergy, lacking the killer combination they needed. And Master Xiaomai there was lower than probably 100 or 200 HP, so it was very close. But when you go for this Seraph's build and you don't go for a Luden, something like that, you are just missing that little bit of burst power that Orianna used to have. Obviously, at this patch that we're looking at probably a Liandry's coming through, and definitely worthwhile here, especially versus the big tank line that they've got. But this is a more sustained damage Orianna build as opposed to, you know, the full burst style with the shockwave and that good stuff.
And now Demonic might be getting caught out a little bit here. They're looking for him. He did have to actually flash away and surrender that turret, but honestly, you can't defend the outer turrets right now. And one thing that we kind of didn't note was that Rutledge actually had a fully stacked Darksteel, and he's now converted it to a Medjai's Soul Stealer here. So he's obviously feeling very, very confident, stealing that shockwave once again from Kataso here. And they're setting up for an ambush. Inferno Drake coming up in about 10 seconds, and you can see Goon Squad Gaming is in the area here. They are first to move. Meanwhile, Necro finally gets the first start of the game in that top side. Does have teleport, can quickly rejoin the team. So the longer Goon Squad waits, the more they lose, and so they're going to turn and burn immediately when Inferno spawns. And Fire not even going to try and contest this one here.
Yeah, they have to concede that one, unfortunately. Just the gold lead is too strong at the moment for Goon Squad Gaming. They're just too far ahead. Caitlyn is 2 items. And then you compare that to Mori, the 2 daggers versus an entire rapid fire cannon. It's just nowhere near the same level. Mori really needs Runans before he's going to be able to team fight effectively, but we see a fight.
Aggressive flash forward here from First Dream maybe, but oh, that shield just barely keeping Mori alive. 30 health there, and the Unstoppable Onslaught coming through with the arrow. Both don't find their targets here. Cancel 1 4 looking for the fact. Both the Forge God catches 3, and we do see the Shockwave come out, but it's Rutledge's Shockwave there, and they manage to take down Demonic. The fight is continuing here. Mashama just continuously bopping Necro. Necro gonna finally go down. It's actually Barnabas Collins picking up the kill onto that one here, and Necro not even bothering to try and throw his body into anything there. He just walks around before he drops. And that's the 2 sort of engaged tanks from the side of Fire down. Mashamai might have overstepped a little bit. He goes under the turret and he goes down. Great play from Kiri as well to sort of slow him and exhaust him there, keeping him under turret. They do get the shutdown. It does go over to Kataso. That's the right target. And they're now continuing to fight 3v4. That's not what you want to do. Kiri getting popped there, caught between a rock and a trap. Nowhere to run. And what should have been a 2-for-1 ends up becoming a 3-for-1 in Goon Squad's favor.
Yeah, so they get the inhibitor down and they start fighting around in the base a little bit there. Mori, or rather Master Xiaomai, does fall and gives over a fairly sizable bounty to Catasol, and with that we see the full Iangis be picked up. So he's reached a nice little spike for himself, and I just don't think that it's going to be enough so far, that they shouldn't be able to, or that this shouldn't be enough to get Fire back into the game. The Liandry spike isn't going to be what Fire were looking for to start turning these team fights back around. You know, the gold lead is still very significantly in the favour of Goon Squad Gaming. You know, this set is still absolutely huge. Silas similarly as well, 18 stacks on the Medjai Soul Stealer. At this point, really functioning as one of those late game high AP items for the low price of 1050. Probably one of the most, is single-handedly the most gold effective item in the game, and when you have this many stacks, really exemplified here.
Yeah, 110 AP here, and Demonic might become the next pages of those books. We'll be able to take the Blast Cone out to safety for now, but such a scary situation. Now Mori getting his ultimate stolen, so Rutledge gonna have that enchanted crystal arrow to start fights up anywhere here he so chooses to, so where he pleases. Baron is on the table here right now. Goon Squad can really decide to go for anything that their heart so desires, and so rude to for the side of Omega Gaming Fire. What do they do? Where do they go at this point to try and get back into the game as Baron gets started by Goon Squad Gaming?
Unfortunately, it's really difficult for them to really do much of anything here. I feel like the world where Goon Squad Gaming loses just by an insane throw on their part, maybe just some numbers disadvantages, but want to draw everybody's attention to the ward, to the bush above river here. Silas flying.
But a fight breaks out here. As you said, the Silas flank comes in and he takes the magical journey with Kiri. Master Xiaomai actually going to be able to take that one up with the headshot as well. They peel off the Baron here. They want kills instead of Baron. Death sentence comes out. They find no one, and they might just look to reset onto Baron again, and they can just rinse and repeat this, because every time we're gonna have to see Omega Gaming Fire go in blind. All their vision around the Baron pit and their topside jungle has been completely cleared out. Rutledge once more looking to zone out here. Well, I say zone out, I think he's just looking to straight up kill someone. He's got a 20 stack Medjai's Soul Stealer here. That's no longer the cap, it's 25 is the cap, but he's pretty darn close. Baron being done by Barnabas Collins and Master Xiaomai, while we see Rutledge and the Epic Champion sort of zoning out here. And yeah, Demonic is not going to have a chance to steal this. First Dream maybe throws out the death sentence, does not connect. And that is going to be Baron in just a little bit, going to Goon Squad Gaming here.
Yeah, the last few autos go down and Omega Gaming Fire, they just know that there's nothing for them to do in this situation. Maybe there was a world where they could use Tempered Fate to engage on these three members that are leading now, but just a little bit too late. Too little too late there. The flash is available as well on numerous members of Goon Squad Gaming, and right now, using this Baron, they should be able to turn this into an Infernal Dragon, which becomes the Infernal Soul, and then from there on in, just any team fights, in case they weren't skewed enough in their favour with the 10,000 gold lead, will be even further with the Infernal Soul helping them out.
For sure, and the Infernal Soul is just spawning at this very moment here. The trap line already set up, so Fire not going to be able to come in from that direction here. Bascon used as well, and Necro coming in will be able to knock out Barnabas Collins, but Call of the Forge God comes across, lands on three members, the back line, all except for Mori there, getting caught, and now Necro might have to be sacrificed for them to get out. The shockwave coming out onto Rutledge, but he goes golden, will be fine. Demonic trying to find the backline, will get popped instead for now. Barnabas Collins just hunts in Catasto. That's one carry down, as well as one tank. Mori trying to run for the hills, and a blast cone from Barnabas Collins will put him into the backline. He's going for Mori here. Can he find him? No, he can't, because Master Xiaomai already popped him. Kiri using that magical journey, but he can't outrun all four members just chasing him here. The damage comes out, the rapid fire cannon lands, and that will be yet another kill. An unofficial quadra here for Master Xiaomai, and it's only going to be Necro left alive, but he's the tank. What can he do? Baron buff is still ticking up. We've got minions walking in, buffed up minions here. They're going to ignore the inhibitor. They've got the Nexus set in their sights here, but good guy inhibitor just respawns. It buys them a bit of time now. Demonic back up. Cataso soon to follow as well. That's one Nexus turret down. Demonic goes in. He goes right back to the fountain immediately there. Will not be able to do anything. The rest of the team is coming up. Epic Champion going golden. I think a style choice there at that point. Cataso did as well. And this is probably it, folks. Fire is dropping like flies here. Master Xiaomai now looking for Mori, patting the KDA. Necro just really trying to do some damage. Not like can do anything. Gets the shutdown because Shamai just walk into the fountain. They're looking for kills. They want Kiri, but they will not get him. They'll get the Nexus instead. And Omega Gaming Fire go 1-1 in week 5 here.
Yeah, and that was a really well played game from Goon Squad Gaming. We really can't take that away from them. Near flawless execution from start to finish, playing around the Caitlyn as pretty much as well as they should have done and as well as they needed to. And it really felt like as soon as the bot lane gank from Catasol, where we saw the sombrero went in the other favor, Caitlyn got a free kill off that roam and was just able to dominate the lane from there on in. And after that, there was just really no coming back for Omega Gaming Fire. Really well played from Goon Squad Gaming to capitalize on it, and that is why they're undefeated so far. They spot the smallest little mistakes in a team, and they just run with them, and they turned the whole game on its head and turned it into another victory for themselves.
Yeah, definitely showing why they deserve to be at the top of the standings here. And Master Shamai 15-2-9 on this Caitlyn as well. Just absolutely monstrous. His damage, actually surprisingly, not as much as I thought. He is the highest damage in the game, but Catasol pumping out a significant amount as well. Just for comparison, Master Shamai did just shy of 30,000 damage, and Catasol did about 22,500. So Catasol really trying his heart out to try and carry that game there.
Yeah, it really was, and the Orianna with the consistent DPS is something that we saw little glimpses of here and there when the Liandry's came through. That was starting to chunk out Silas at least, and with the combos onto the Ashe as well, even later on, or onto the Caitlyn rather, even later on, was finding some success. But as soon as the Vamp Scepter was picked up by Caitlyn, there was just pretty much no way in, and the amount of damage that Caitlyn was dishing out relative to the rest of Omega Gaming Fire was just nowhere near there, and that's ultimately why Fire did fall and why the Caitlyn was the key superstar really here.
For sure. Now, I know that they lost here for Omega Gaming in game 2 here, but Rude Dude, if you had to give an MVP to a member of the side of Omega Gaming, who would you give it to here in game 2?
I think I'm gonna go with Catasol for that one. I mean, obviously giving MVP to I'll give it the ace. You know how OPGG do the most valued player on
Right.
the loser team. I think the ace still goes to Catasol. Yes, the whole roam was pretty awkward, and it was pretty much what sealed the deal early on. I think that he, as you say, with the most damage in the game, tried his heart out and really went for the potential to start carrying the game back. Was all off of Catasol. I felt like Mori never really got a show in this game, and Catasol was probably the one thing that was a shining light for Fire here.
Yeah, so unfortunately, with that, Omega Gaming Fire end their night 1-1, and that's not a bad score by any means, showing their strength really when they beat Soulbound Tempest so decisively. And their loss here is to one of the top teams in Blue Otter Platinum, so it's not by any means a sign that Omega Gaming Fire is weak, just that they've got a little bit more of a ways to go yet. And with that, I do believe that concludes our night here in the Blue Otter League Platinum. Root Dude, is there anything you'd like to say before we sign off here?
No, just obviously commiserations to Fire in this game, and obviously well played to Goon Squad Gaming, and thanks as well to you, Random, for joining me on the desk, because honestly, it's been a blast casting with you.
For sure. It's been an absolute joy and pleasure casting with you as well. Thank you to Omega Gaming for the opportunity and for your team's excellent play tonight, both in your win and your loss as well. And thank you to all the viewers here tonight for supporting this. It really means a lot to us. And with that, we're pretty much done for tonight. So thank you for watching in, and we'll hope to see you whenever we next cast.